So welcome everyone. So today we're going to be exploring the reality of holding on to the sacred dream. This part is extremely important. I'm looking at the gateway between what is the 23rd of May running through to the summer solstice, and what this means in terms of your ascension, not just the ascension of humanity, what it means as you as a key in terms of the ascension. So this means very, very carefully, we must stabilize our own attachments. We must stabilize the validity of our attachments, whether these attachments serve us, whether it may be to the narrative that is driving down our frequency or driving up our frequency. So this is extremely key. Despite information overload, despite our current concerns to understand what is taking place, we are being called to detect sacred truth, detect sacred within ourselves. This is a measure. This is our safety zone in terms of determining whether we can indeed stand strong in our warriorship and evolve it, protect it, and grow it. This is the resource that we are indeed being sacred called into awakening and activating beyond everything we've been led to believe. We are in the false matrix. This is central to our educational programming, our programming in terms of who we are as men and as women, who we are in terms of keys in society. And this is where we must review. So we return back to ourselves and we start again in terms of our misinterpretation of our own sacred dream. So we come back into the sacred throne of our authority and our own power. And it is only then when we begin to extract ourselves from the illusion that is woven as a reality before us. And this is extremely important. The awareness levels that are required to navigate and negotiate us during this time is absolutely extraordinary and extraordinarily advanced. Our consciousness is being called currently. So we begin to not only safeguard our consciousness, but also to develop our consciousness in new primary ways. And this can be difficult to comprehend, of course, if we have primary attachments that, of course, serve us but also serve the agenda of the false matrix. So I want to simplify this for all of you. In order to break free of the frequency fences or the frequency ceilings of the false matrix, which entangles us in an illusion, and what can be an illusion, not just for this particular lifetime, but for multiple incarnations. So this is part of our historical past in terms of our mission here on the planet and what it has meant for us in terms of our evolution of our soul and of our contracts. Many of our contracts have indeed been compromised, hijacked before. And I don't need to travel into this discourse and sharing of information, because the urgency of what we are facing currently is not a question in terms of our intellects and what we believe we know, or our journey into seeking the complete truth in ways that are a design of the false matrix. So for example, where we are in the design of the false matrix, we will always be following the truth. However, that truth is something that can be constantly elusive. So I want to take you back into some simple processes today. And this is based in my own work, my own Ascension University, my mystery schools. I'm a guardian of the sacred. I'm a guardian of the sacred contracts of humanity. And this is critical to hold on to your own sacred dream. And this in itself is revolutionary, because of course we all have access to our sacred dreams, and more than at any other time before, our need to hold on to our dreams is primary. And yesterday I went to the store and I was doing my grocery shopping, and I just knew I had to communicate with the young man who was working on the checkout. And I just started to talk to him, and he said he'd majored in psychology and history, and he started to talk about the false matrix and his interest in consciousness. And I could see he had such a grasp of reality and consciousness, and yet his frequency, already he felt defeated by what lies ahead. And it's here, it's the tipping point. And I came into his field, his life, for a moment in time to change his perspective about the hope that we should have in terms of these times. And this is what we've got to keep on reminding ourselves of his disappointment with what lies ahead, his future as a millennial, is found in his programming, is found in his family's program, his family's story, his family's history. And because I detect both the sacred contract and the programs that create the ceiling on our human experience and the ceiling on our human genius, our intelligence, and our intelligence that is sacred, and our sacred destiny, our sacred mission on the earth. Where we are defeated, that dream is never forgotten. However, that dream is often dismissed and we sell ourselves to the false matrix. So these are important times because those millennials are designed for these times. And yet the consequences of engaging in the false matrix and selling ourselves, buying into the divisive distractions of the false matrix, the programs of the false matrix that derail our sacred mission and our sacred intelligence. If we can hear the whispers of our sacred dream, then we should be doing as much as possible in terms of rooting into that safety zone and what it means to absolutely step inside our safety zone to heal, to self-heal, and to regenerate consistently so we can hold on tight to our sacred mission on the planet. And this is key, absolutely key, in terms of the way we protect not only ourselves and we hold on to our own sacred dream and the alignment and the embodiment absolutely of our sacred mission on the planet that is not contaminated by the false matrix. But we are also a sacred design in terms of ourselves. And when we are that embodiment and that alliance to our own sacred design and the sacred design of our universe, what happens? Then we are not mules of the false matrix programs, and our interactions with others, it allows us to stop the insidious false matrix programs that consistently place ceilings on the sacred dreams of others. This is my work, and I've researched so much in terms of modalities and mythologies and ancient sites across the planet. How do we discover it? How do we uncover it? By coming into the fold of individuals who generously take you there, who have worked with courage and fearlessness in terms of facing their own obstacles, ceilings, and challenges, and consistently working hard to break free of the false matrix, our historical patterns, traumas, wounds that are indeed regenerated in our present and in our future because we have failed to see what needs to be healed and cleared and cleaned. So, between now and solstice, this is our work, and our work is absolutely critical. So I hope this brings forward some simplicity in the way we can awaken and activate and hold on to our sacred mission, our sacred dream, without compromise in terms of the false matrix. Without compromise will show up in your field. You will have clear boundaries, healthy boundaries in terms of your own self-honoring. You will also at the same time be aware of your truths, your sacred signatures, and what that means in terms of your own values and ethics, your sacred values and sacred ethics in terms of your path, your integrity, and how you can honor not just yourself and your own sacred mission on the planet, which at this time should be devoid of the low density stereotypes, stereotyping that are part of the entanglement to these frequency fences, distortions, ceilings, which are the intrinsic design of the enslavement of the false matrix. Now, this has been my life's work, and to solve this enslavement, frequency fence, ceiling that is holding the potential of our genius, each and every one of us, the potential of each and every one of us being a sacred human being on the planet. It's only when we step inside into our own sacred sanctuary that we can begin to listen to the dream and absolutely prioritize it. And everything that it represents has so little to restrict it, because of course it is not the domain of the false matrix. It's not the domain of inequality, and it brings forth the absolute ethics, integrity, and authenticity, which allows you to not only safeguard your own sacred mission on the planet, but to safeguard the sacred mission of others on the planet. And this is why I stand in my work, and I have always stood away from the mainstream, because sacred is a path that will always allow you to see what is and what is not, what illusion is and what is not. And within the context of that journey, you have that sanctuary within yourself, that sacred power within yourself, which gives you and brings you the courage, no matter what, and the resource, no matter what, to always, despite the distractions, despite the attempted hijacks, despite the attempted enslavement of the false matrix, you will always break free, because truth allows the alchemy of your sacred contracts to dance as the highest frequency that you can possibly exist on earth in. When we do that, we have access not only to an incredible existence on earth, we have an incredible entry into time, the timelines, and it allows us to break free of the frequency signature that is the design of the false matrix. Now, this is really important, and I just want to come back into this because currently the frequency codes of my own work is really ramping up in terms of its visibility and its how tangible and how simple the teachings can be, because we have to support as many individuals at this time in the most simple ways, because the frequency adjustments, those initiations are key in aiding you, the frequency boosts, so that you can break free of the false matrix, raising your frequency, enhancing, increasing your consciousness, particularly your own awareness, based in this inner sanctuary of resource. And again, it transcends the ego, it transcends self-gain. Hugely important, because when we turn the key, we become the keys of light in terms of our planet and new earth, and the resonance in terms of other individuals doing the same. It's then we can mobilize with an honoring of our equality. Why? Because with more human beings living on the planet in the sacred dream, we can create and build from and within our own sacred sanctuaries to create a sacred sanctuary on earth. Now that feels absolutely correct. It feels correct. Here we can stand still, we can listen, we can engage with our sacred power as men and as women, and we can engage with insight awareness and love, whilst at the same time remain in an intelligence that can truly comprehend what sacred is and what it means and how we protect it, how we protect ourselves as sacred and sovereign beings. Now, to protect it, not in the false matrix definition. To protect it is to dedicate to it. So let's make this super easy. Okay. So many channelings, frequencies. So let's hold on to the sacred dream so we can shine light into the world. And that is not a trite and superficial mainstream statement. We must check that we create this in our reality. And that then allows us to step into sacred intelligence, sacred love, sacred caring, guardianship of others, of humanity, of our planet. It takes care of creating the design of the new earth and then dedicating ourselves to the new earth and opening the gateways for contact. So, too exciting. It's time. So, do not get distracted. That is the message. And that is the practice. So, here is your process to locate the signature of your sacred dream. The easiest way to work deeply with this is to ground and earth. And again, this is not a trite statement or instruction. To solidly align through your physical body, use your physical. Trace through the physical structure, easy. So you're not missing the instruction, you're not missing the point or the purpose of meditation or process during these times that needs to be super effective. So the sure way to experience your sacred self, and at the same time, it will draw up what needs to be worked on, what your attachments are. There'll be frequency glitches. These need to be healed. And then your sacred dream. Work off the frequencies. My support is dimensional. We can run through a lot of time here. And keep dropping through your body so that you are super grounded. Actually, you can really push your hands together, push your hands into your legs. Keep it super, super, super physical. Hold on to the dream. Behind me are the Great Pyramids. The ancient Egyptians didn't just dream. They created the reality structures for the evolution of consciousness. They created the contracts forever to secure the evolution and ascension of our planet. They were precise scientists and masters of time. So, where I spend a lot of time in Egypt, maybe 70 times in field visits, this reveals and unearths the gifts of research that goes beyond anything that is mainstream. So, what has been revealed to me is something that I often don't come across in books. So these are my teachings, and I share with you during these times. Miracles has been such a gift in terms of what I've been able to mobilize in terms of giving to the community during these times. So thank you all so much for joining me. And I'll be broadcasting tomorrow. Thank you so much.